That's right. And even if you didn't get as good a sleep as you wanted, you know what? You're probably still going to be okay. And you can manage that. And so that thought is also really important and a very, oh gosh, I don't know the word, but it's a strong thought that is really recommended by sleep doctors that even if I don't get sleep, I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's really good. Are you doing all the things? Eating trim healthy, working out, praying for a breakthrough, but the belly fat still won't budge? Do you feel like your hormones are working against you and you're stuck in a body that doesn't feel like yourself anymore? Friend, I see you and you are not alone. I'm Kris, trim healthy coach, personal trainer, midlife mama, and lover of Jesus. I believe your body is good, your health matters to God, and you don't have to hustle harder to feel whole. Inside this podcast, I'll help you lose weight with grace, steward your body through perimenopause and menopause, and rebuild energy and confidence with practical trim healthy strategies that honor your hormones and your faith. Hey friend, just popping in with a quick reminder. If you're ready to finally turn on fat burning in midlife, I want to invite you to join me inside the Midlife Fat Loss Formula. This is my 6-month group coaching program where we walk through 5 hormone smart steps. Smart nutrition that supports metabolism, movement that fits your busy life, blood sugar balance to reduce cravings, mindset tools to stay on track, systems that help you to turn on fat burning for good. You don't have to overthink it or do it alone. Come take a peek at what it's all about. bit.ly/join fat loss formula. That's bit.ly/join fat loss formula. Hello, friends. Today we are welcoming Shonda Palmer. She is a colleague/friend that I've known for the last 7 years. We have done work together over the years, and she is bringing us a specialty in sleep because, as you know, sleep is elusive in our menopausal years. Or maybe it isn't for you, but it definitely has been for me and a lot of other people. And I can't wait for you to hear some solutions that she has that can definitely be a game changer for you and your sleep. But first, let me introduce her. Shonda Palmer is the founder and CEO of Shonda Palmer Wellness and creator of Sleep Soundly program. A national board certified health and wellness coach, she specializes in mindfulness-based strategies for better sleep, stress management, and overall well-being. Trained in CBT and meditation, Shonda works with clients globally and teaches at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. She also partners with healthcare professionals to promote natural sleep solutions. Based in San Diego County, she enjoys life on a hobby farm with her husband of 33 years, their 4 adult children, and a granddaughter. Let's welcome Shonda. Hello, friends, and welcome to Menopause Makeover. I am Coach Kris, and I am so excited to bring you a podcast today where I am talking to one of my good friends, colleague, and sleep coach. I don't know if that's what you call yourself, but that's what you call yourself, a sleep specialist. I said a sleep coach. But I'm so excited to bring you guys this interview today with Shonda Palmer. Honestly, I'm just going to tell you guys what really happened. We had this interview a couple weeks ago. It was so amazing, but guess what I did not do? I did not record us. So here we are again, and I already know you guys are going to be so excited to hear some sleep remedies that Shonda is going to share with us today that's probably going to change your sleep life. So, Shonda, let's get going. Tell us a little bit about you, and then let's go.
All right. I'm so happy. You know, Kris, anytime I get to talk to you is the best. So I am really grateful to have this do-over because it means I get more time with you. So
Awesome.
I love it. Yeah. It's great to be here with you and talk about sleep. And yes, I do call myself a sleep coach is just fine. I love to come along on the journey to help women to feel better, better rested, better energy through better sleep practices. And I've been doing this for a while. I've been a coach for about 9 years now. I'm a national board certified health and wellness coach. And I have really used as my main modality mindfulness and self compassion in all of my coaching. But I have a little story of my own, and maybe we'll get to that later. I'll hold off on sharing that. But I came to discover sleep and sleep coaching through cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. And since I learned about that and have been coaching, I've coached probably about 3,000 people to get better sleep through this method. And it is truly transformational. It really is. What you said was exactly right. It can change somebody's sleep life for the better. And we know that sleep is so important. It's everything. It impacts our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, even our spiritual health. So it is pretty important.
Absolutely. And from one sleep, I guess I'll call me lack of sleep person to another, and many women out there. I can't wait to dive into this because I've actually done a lot of study around sleep because I've had my own struggles. And, because we already had a conversation before, I have to say that I don't know everything about sleep, and I learned some things that have actually helped me already. So I can't wait to bring this to everyone. My audience they are women in midlife, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. And I will say, we have sleep issues. We just do. And so I want to know, why does sleep become more challenging for women in midlife? And let's just talk about first why, and then we can talk about what you do about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm right there with you. I'm with y'all. I am a woman in midlife. I've raised my family. They're all big now. I'm a grandma. And I probably couldn't sleep for a good 25 years, I'd say. I had insomnia for close to 25 years, but it just ramps up in midlife. And there's a number of reasons why. First of all, of course, the hormone changes, right? As we, go into that perimenopause and menopause, all of our hormones start to shift. Our progesterone, our estrogen, they start to dip down, which both of those hormones are more of that sedating hormones that we have. So when they're reducing, then we're more anxious, we're more awake, we have sleep issues. So of course those hormone issues are a big problem for women in our age range, right? Other than that, I mean, what happens in those midlife years? A lot happens. Maybe like me, our kids are starting to grow up and have maybe even some challenges of their own. We're becoming empty nesters. We're having a lot of life transitions that can really impact our stress. Maybe we have elderly parents that we're caring for, or a partner, a husband that we're caring for. There's lots of things, lots of stress comes at that time of our life. So with the stress, that here comes the cortisol increase, right? We have all those stress hormones circulating, which, of course, keep us awake. And the thoughts, and a lot of my clients experience racing thoughts at night, worries, the anxieties that come. When it's quiet, when it's dark, that's when everything kind of kicks in, right? Like, oh no, I need to think about this. I need to think about that. So I think those two things are really impactful for women in this age, the hormones, and then just, all that life brings at this stage, and the worries and the stressors.
Well, I can say yes and amen to all of that. Even last night, I was having looping thoughts all night long about the worries, the things, that are going on in my life. And so, would you say, I mean, this is just a personal question, would you say that, so I don't remember having that in my 30s, late 30s, and even, early on in my bearing years. I mean, I have 9 kids
Mhm.
and, didn't have a lot of sleep because I was either nursing or pregnant or restless leg or all the things. But I'm just curious, and you may not know this, but why the thoughts and the worries, why are they so magnified in midlife, prior, to when we're younger?
Oh my goodness, that's such a great question. Why? That I want to know why too. Uh, I think for me personally, I feel like I'm at this age where I'm a support for people, right? I'm a support in a different way. So yeah, I raised my kids and doing all the things and, homeschooling and just doing all the things, and you're busy, and that's one stage. But then as your kids grow up, as your, like I said, your other family members, maybe your parents or, your older siblings, whoever it is, I feel like we have this sense of imparting wisdom, maybe, or just that what we have is important to share. And so that's just for me personally. I don't know. Maybe others have other answers or reasons for this, but I definitely think that I stress a lot about the other people in my life. We love the people in my life and we want to support them,
Yes. Yes.
and I think that that might have something to do with it.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I've never thought of it like that, but we do. As we age, we go into this space where we're less nurturing. Not that we don't nurture, but we're more wisdom givers. And I guess as a wisdom giver and one that sees a little bit more than she ever has because she's older and wiser, there's just a lot more there to carry.
Hmm.
And then, like you said, those hormones, they really play into that as well. And I have to think that God has something really special and awesome going on in this season. I
Mm.
have to think that. And I feel like it's a little bit of a mystery right now in, what that actually, how can we actually redeem that? Like, how can we turn that into something powerful and not something that we're a victim of? And that's what I feel like with so many women that I coach, and even myself. Sometimes we just feel like a victim of our sleep.
Mhm.
And so I would love for you to share I have other questions, but some strategies
Yeah.
that we can do to just best support our sleep. I know we can't control it, which I am a former control freak and I would love to control everything. Not really, don't want to be in that position. But what are some things? I really am interested in the cognitive behavior therapy because, as you know, use a little bit of that in my coaching, and I haven't used that at all for sleep. So I'm kind of jumping ahead, but let's move into some strategies that might help some of our listeners if they're struggling.
Yes, absolutely. So there are so many different things you can do for your sleep. Of course, there's sleep hygiene, and everybody hears about that, right? Like sleep hygiene and making sure that you're not having caffeine late in the day, or that you're setting up your room so it's a relaxing environment. All of those things. But here's the surprising thing: is sleep hygiene is actually at the bottom of the hierarchy for the sleep strategies. Sure, it's important, and I think I'm not telling anybody to not practice good sleep hygiene, but there are other things that I feel are a priority. And the number one thing is that the cognitive, the thoughts around our sleep. And something that we can do is reframe. So identifying those thoughts that you have specifically about sleep. So, of course, we've got all the worries, right? And maybe we're thinking about, all the things that we need to do and so on and so on. But really identifying when you have a sleep specific thought. And that might look like, oh no, if I don't fall asleep right now, I'm going to feel terrible tomorrow. Or, uh, or, oh no, I'm awake. I'm going to be awake all night. So identifying those sleep specific thoughts and then reframing them as best you can. And you don't want to immediately go to like flipping it completely because your brain probably won't, it's
Right.
not going to believe you, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Nice try.
Yeah.
So maybe bringing in a more neutral thought is just to start with. And you want to choose a thought that will evoke an emotion that you rather feel instead of feeling anxious or, stressed or frustrated. Maybe you would like to feel more peace or even more confident or empowered, whatever you'd like to choose. I usually choose peace. I love feeling peaceful. So giving yourself a new thought that will evoke that emotion, noticing how you feel in the body. And this is, as I work as a mindfulness and meditation teacher and coach, I love helping people to connect with their bodies. I think it's very, very important. So connecting with your body in a way, so you notice, how am I feeling? Where is this thought showing up in the body? Do I feel, can I shift from the tight, muscle tension, maybe tightness or heaviness in the chest or clenching my teeth with the negative sleep talk? Can I shift that to feeling more easeful, more relaxed? Maybe I can feel those points of contact with my body on the bed, and I can kind of sink into that, and even feeling vibration or tingling through, the arms and legs. And so just really connecting in that way. And that alone can really help you to feel less stressed and more calm. And as you are directing your thoughts to the body, it helps to calm the mind. So lots of good reasons for that. And then just repeating that new thought in your mind a few times, whatever feels good. You don't want to do anything that feels too weird. So just
Right.
going with the flow,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and doing some breathing with that.
Well, I have a specific ask.
Sure.
You can coach me here for a second because I'm bringing something very practical. I love what you bring about getting out of the thought and into your body. Like, I think that is so important. It's not intuitive, I don't think, for a lot of us. It may be for some. It's not for me. I'm sort of a physical driver, type A personality, kind of person. And I have a thought, and so I would love a reframe. And my thought is, I'm waking up every hour. That's my thought because I am waking up almost every hour. And I know it's not helpful. I know it's not helpful, but I have not put that through, the model, which is what I use. But I would love for you to help me reframe that because I bet there's other ladies out there. That thought, and then they're awake between 2 and 3. That's the other thought. Like, I'm awake at 3 a.m. So those two thoughts, I would love to have a little reframe for those.
Yes, absolutely. And you're not alone, Kris. Um, you really are with either one of those. Um, so for the waking every hour, so that's your thought. I'm waking up every hour. How does that make you feel?
Frustrated.
Mhm. Frustrated. And what is going on with your body when you think back of feeling frustrated?
Tossing and turning and tensing, probably the things that are not helping me.
Ah, yeah. So tossing, turning, tensing up. Yes, all things that are probably not super conducive to
Right.
quality sleep. Absolutely. Okay. So let me kind of dive in a little bit. So cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBT-I, is similar to, like you said, the model that we know
Right.
and love, but it's a little bit different. And the difference comes with there's psychoeducation around sleep science and what happens. And with that education, that is also helping our cognitions to, in this case, to normalize things. So with your thought or your experience actually of I'm waking up every hour, that's actually really common. And I might even say it's normal to wake up for up to 7 times a night. We could be waking up because we do wake up briefly in between sleep cycles, when we complete a sleep cycle, which usually takes about an hour, hour and a half, we wake up briefly. Our brain sort of does a little, check in. Am I safe? Our brain always wants to keep us safe. So kind of surveys the surroundings in the dark. Okay, yes, I'm safe. I can go back to sleep. And then we start another sleep cycle. So that is how our human brains and systems work. So that's normal. We may even have a brief arousal in between the different phases of sleep. So, as we're shifting from that deep sleep to the REM, maybe we'll wake up a little bit, just briefly. And so this, all of this means that's normal. That's normal. So normalizing the wake ups can be very supportive for someone going through sleep issues, because now we move from, oh no, something's wrong, which of course that's going to spike anxiety. That's going to, create more stress and tension, which is not going to help our sleep in any way. So normalizing it will help calm the nervous system. All is well. All is well. I can go back to sleep. So that's something that I recommend to all of my sleep clients. Normalizing wake ups, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm waking up every hour," or "I'm waking up, all these times in the night." It's like, okay, well, let's go through what your thought is, what you're feeling, what your emotions are, and then let's shift to normalize it. And that alone can make a huge difference. Like, oh, this is normal. This is normal. This is what humans do, and I can roll over and go back to sleep. So that's one thing. How does that feel?
Yeah, well, because we had this convo before, I actually have been using that to normalize. It does make me feel better. I don't feel like I have as much frustration or even like that cortisol spike.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that it's like, this is normal. Like in my brain, I think I should go to sleep at 9 o'clock at night and sleep all through the night until 6 or 7 a.m. And that is unreasonable.
Yeah.
But my brain tells me that. And a lot of us, I didn't even realize how much better I was sleeping than I thought until I got my Oura ring. And I'm like, oh, I did get some sleep. Oh, this is good. So I have been using that. And I do think that's super helpful, just to be like, there's nothing wrong with you. This is okay. Let's
Yeah.
figure this out. We got this.
That's right. And even if you didn't get as good a sleep as you wanted, you know what? You're probably still going to be okay. And you can manage that. And so that thought is also really important, and a very, oh gosh, I don't know the word, but it's a strong thought that is really recommended by sleep doctors, that even if I don't get sleep, I'll be okay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's next step for me for sure. Like
Yeah.
even if I'm not sleeping, all is well. It is
All well.
fine.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the woman who's wondering if it's just too late. If you've been thinking, well, I guess this is just how it's going to be from now on, maybe I'll never feel strong or lean again. I want to speak directly to you. It is not too late, my friend. Your body is not broken. You just need a plan that works with your hormones, your metabolism, and your real life. That's why I built the Midlife Fat Loss Formula. It is my 6-month group coaching program where we walk step by step through the exact things your body needs to shift back in to fat burning mode. You'll learn how to eat in a way that fuels you, how to move in a way that actually works, and how to create sustainable habits that last beyond the 6 months. It's not about perfection. It's about progress that sticks. Women like Michelle and Anita are seeing major shifts, not just on the scale, but in their labs, in their confidence, and even their strength. So if you've been needing that nudge to take the next step, this is it. Come on over to bit.ly/join fat loss formula. That's bit.ly/join fat loss formula.
I've gotten through before, and I can get through again. It's okay. Nothing bad's going to happen. So yeah, so reframing, that is really the key. I believe that, once we address those negative sleep thoughts and reframe them, it can make such a huge difference. Now, there's other things as well. There is making sure that we have a strong and healthy bed sleep connection. So this means that you're only using your bed for sleep. We're not working on our laptop or scrolling on the phone or eating or watching TV or, all the things that people do in the bed. Instead, we're just sleeping in the bed because this will create a strong stimulus response with your bed and sleep. And something that we do in CBT-I is we talk about stimulus control. So this means that if you are awake in your bed for more than about 20-25 minutes, then the recommendation is to get up out of bed and move somewhere else, maybe a sofa. You don't have to necessarily leave the room. Some people do need to leave the room, but if you have a comfy, even a beanbag chair in the bedroom, whatever works for you, where you can go and do some relaxation, just calming activities. It doesn't have to be even like a meditation or breath work or anything. Maybe you have a podcast or music that you could listen to. Some people like to fold towels or sort socks. It's sort of like, and who doesn't have like all the laundry, right? Like that could go on all night, but just something sort of repetitive where we're just calming the mind, calming the nervous system until we notice those sleepiness cues come up again. So being mindful of, what happens to me when I am truly sleepy. Maybe if you are reading a book, that's something else you can do. If I like start reading the same sentence, like, over and over, and I'm just like losing focus, or maybe big yawns, or slow blinks, or starting to feel a little restless in the body. I know my legs get restless when I'm sleepy, and it's like, oh, I need to head to bed. So noticing those sleepiness cues, and then once you do notice those, then you can go back to the bed and try again. And sometimes people need to try a few times, but that's okay. If you're awake, it's better to be awake outside of your bed so your brain doesn't start associating your bed as a place to experience stress and, anxiety or, tossing and turning or tension. Instead, if you have that strong association with your bed equals sleep.
I love that because it's funny because we talked about this, the first time that we had our interview, and then I follow you on Instagram, and this is one of your posts. It was the same thing that you're saying, which I haven't done, is I will lay in bed for an hour. Like I was giving myself a whole hour. And then I would say, okay, if I'm awake for an hour, I'm going to get up. But I would go do something that was energizing,
Mhm.
like I would work or, make my list for the shower coming up or the grocery list or whatever.
Mhm.
And then that would keep me awake. But the times that I would actually get up and get out of my bed and read, for a little bit, eventually, even if it was like 30, 45 minutes or whatever, I would start noticing, okay, I'm tired again. I would get back in bed and go to sleep. So I love that practical knowledge of don't just lay there because not just because it's not going to help you sleep, but because of the negative, I guess connotation with your bed and not being able to sleep. Like I didn't think about it like that. I was just like, I'm just going to lay here and like ride it out.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't
no.
want to miss it. I might fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great advice. Great advice.
and it can be tough. And I know that, people are like, oh, I have to get up out of my bed, but what if I never go back to sleep? It's like, okay, well, that's a sleep thought or negative sleep thought. So let's reframe that. Like this strategy has worked for others and it can work for me
Yeah,
too.
I love that. So I have a pop-up question that I didn't tell you I was going to ask. And it is, what if you wake up and it's because you're hungry?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I asked that Honestly, I'm getting coached here, Shonda. So you will have to put the bill in the mail for me.
Love it.
But I am a quintessential have sleep issues, and a lot of people that follow me, they know I've talked about this a lot, and I've been working on it. And but sometimes, and actually more times, I will wake up around 1 o'clock in the morning, and I am hungry.
Mhm.
My stomach, it's not like I just want to go eat in the night. It's not that. It's like literally my stomach is like, you are hungry. You need something. You need some food.
So interesting. So what I'm curious is, when do you stop eating?
Like before bed.
Hmm.
So I usually have a later dinner. We usually eat because of baseball. Thank you, baseball
Hmm.
schedule.
Yeah.
Trevor and I, my husband and I, usually eat around 7:30 at night. And
Okay.
I'm actually wondering if that's too late because I go to sleep at 9. That's not a lot of time.
Okay.
But I do eat later, and I don't eat a huge dinner. I will say I'm more of a breakfast, a good amount for breakfast, a great amount for lunch. I have a snack. Dinner is probably a little bit light, just I guess because of my hunger at that point in time and also my training in that don't want to have a whole lot of food on my stomach, but also I'm very active. I'm probably more active than the normal menopausal woman, because I'm playing sports and I'm working out. And so, but I do hear women say they wake up and they're hungry too.
Mhm. Yeah. So, okay, great information. Thank you for sharing that. It does sound like with a 7:30ish. I mean, is that if you're starting dinner, maybe you're starting dinner at 7:30, but you're getting into bed at 9. That is considered pretty well late, a late dinner, considering your bedtime. The recommendation with that is to limit your meals within 3 hours of bedtime. So, but that's a meal. You can still have a snack though. So I'm wondering, because you said it's a lighter dinner, I wonder if it would be considered more of a snack, and
I would say
you
it's,
are hungry.
yeah, I would say it is more than a snack,
Okay.
but I wonder if cortisol can drive something like that. Don't know. Just
Mm,
throwing things out there. Usually I would guess
yeah.
cortisol would depress appetite, but
Yeah, I'm not sure about the cortisol. I'm also wondering about blood sugars and just stabilizing blood
yes,
sugars. Um, and because that can bring on, of course, we have cravings when our blood
right.
sugar is low. Um, and so there's a couple things here. Just the timing of your meal, because your body will kind of turn off all of the systems, right? They're turned off. So normally we won't have those hunger cues in the night. Eating does stimulate the circadian rhythm. So there are three things that stimulate your circadian rhythm, and it's light, eating, and exercising. So that's why we say don't eat within 3 hours of bed, and also don't do a heavy workout, before bed. So yeah, just curious um, if timing is impacting that. But I do sometimes suggest a snack to stabilize blood sugars. So something that's going to, have some protein, complex carb, maybe, just to kind of get through the night. So that, yeah, I'm just curious about like blood sugars also, and I'll just throw this out there. Sometimes we wake up in the night and think, oh, I'm awake. There must be a reason. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
hungry.
Yeah.
Same thing happens with, yeah. And the same thing happens with, oh, I must need to go to the bathroom. And a lot of clients will say, oh, I get up 4 or 5 times to go to the bathroom. And we kind of explore that a little bit. Like, well, actually, that system's kind of turned off too. You don't typically, unless there is, an issue
Right.
that you talk to your
Yeah.
doctor about, or pregnant, of course, where you do need to go. But typically, you wouldn't be woken up because you needed to use
Yeah.
the bathroom. It's much more likely that you wake up and think, oh, I
Yeah.
must need,
Yeah. That
you
makes
know,
sense.
whatever. So it could be the same with
Hmm.
hunger,
Well, I'm going to get
just with
curious
that.
about it. That's what I'm going to do. And here's another question that's a little off grid because I didn't tell you this was coming, but I'm just thinking of my ladies. Okay. One, and I experienced this as well. One of the things that we deal with is our partner who snores or has a CPAP machine or is on their phone, like that is a biggie.
Oh, it's huge.
That's
Yes.
another podcast I know, so we'll briefly touch it here, but we'll do that
Yeah.
because I hear this all the time, and I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know, have a conversation, with your husband.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what everybody thinks. Maybe this needs to be a
Yeah,
series.
definitely, definitely. But you have to talk.
Sleeping.
So specifically, I'm just getting a coaching session here. So my husband
Yeah.
snores,
Yeah.
and that I didn't realize was actually keeping me up. And
Hmm.
how do you navigate that with your people?
Yeah. Yes. And believe me, again, you're not alone. I've coached, like I said, up to somewhere around 3,000. I'm not even
You're
sure now. It just
amazing.
keeps
Look at
going up
you.
and
You
up.
go, girl.
But it's my heart just goes out to everyone, and there's so much common humanity. So I teach self-compassion, and that's a pillar of self-compassion is common humanity, where we're just so similar and we're all experiencing very similar things. And this is something that so many people experience with the snoring, with the all the things that you mentioned, like yes, yes, and yes. So something that we talk about is what strategies have you used, such as earplugs? That can be something to experiment with and to explore using earplugs. I wear earplugs every night because I have a noisy house. I have young adults who are noisy at night. I have dogs who bark. I have a husband who's, also, not sleeping sometimes. So earplugs can help. White noise machine, that sort of thing. And there's different options. There's the earplugs that you stick in your ears. There's a headband that you can wear that has Bluetooth, so it's soft, and so it's not going to be too uncomfortable. It can play nature sounds or white noise or whatever, or you can just have the old school white noise machine next to your bed. So there are things that some technology there that you can use to help with that. I'm saving the most drastic one for
Okay.
last.
Can't wait to hear about that.
Um, yeah, well, I'll go ahead. There's something called a sleep divorce, which I really hate that name, and I actually call it something different. I heard it from another, like a sleep physician, and I can't remember who, so I don't know who to credit it with, but they call it, instead of a sleep divorce, they call it a sleep alliance. And yeah, and what this means is sleeping in separate rooms. And this can be done for a time until you're able to kind of overcome that insomnia or sleep disruption, or maybe some people really enjoy that. So the sleep alliance can be really helpful. And I believe there's even been studies done that it helps a relationship because you feel less resentful toward the partner who is disrupting your sleep, which sounds kind of crazy, but it is something that can be helpful, in the short term or, maybe a little bit longer. So the strategies of using something that can help you to kind of drown out or, buffer using earplugs or white noise, going the more drastic route of the sleep alliance, but also using those cognitive behavioral skills that we know of reframing, noticing, acknowledging like, oh, this is hard. This is disrupting my sleep. This is making me feel, whatever it's making you feel. Like, oh, I'm getting kind of tense about this. Oh, I'm getting a little bit grumpy about this. And acknowledging that giving yourself compassion. Like, okay, yeah, you know what? This is hard. It's hard to have my sleep disrupted. It's hard to, I just want to get good sleep. And then reframing it. And however that looks for you, it's possible. I love to add in a couple words to my reframes. And those words are it's possible and even though. So actually I start with even though first. Like even though it's hard to sleep with this noise, it's possible that I can sleep. And that brings in, again, it's more of a statement of fact, right? So it's a little more neutral. And that can help calm things down. Because when our sleep's disrupted by, whatever, we can feel that anxiety spike. We can feel that, oh no, now I can't sleep.
Right. Yeah.
And so whatever we can do to calm the thoughts, calm the body, calm the nervous system will help.
Well, I love that you're giving us things that we are in control of. And this is our power. Like that feels good. When I feel like a victim to my sleep, that doesn't feel good. But when I have tools, which is what you've shared today, which is so amazing. And I hope that I'm practicing this. And last thing before we wrap things up, to the woman who is so struggling and she's done all the things and she's still, not where she wants to be, what would you say to her?
Yes, I was that woman. So definitely speaking to my younger self, I would encourage her just to be kind to herself, to, again, as I mentioned, practice that self-compassion. Be kind. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay. You can feel rested. You can do the things that are within your control. There's always going to be things outside of our control, but we are still in control of our thoughts and our actions, our reactions, all the things. We're in control of that. So be kind to yourself. Practice some self-care. Do whatever you need to do to give yourself that space and that margin through the day. If it's been a hard night, and don't beat yourself up about it, because that brings more stress, more anxiety, which will then carry on over into the night.
I love that because I have benefited from thoughts like that, from treating myself that way. And I also coach women to do that as well. But it's not intuitive. It's not, it's just not, there's so many things that we want to focus on, like fix this, fix that. But if you spend time in that space of just being gracious to yourself and kind, you just end up feeling better and even sleeping better. And I love that. It is, I cannot hear that enough. So I thank you so much. Every time I talk with you, I always get this like warm feeling, like just a reminder, like be kind to you, love on you, treat you like you would treat your best friend. Such a blessing. And so thank you so much for being here today. We definitely are going to need to do 2.0 where we talk about some of the other things. So really quick, why don't you tell everyone where I'm going to put all this in the show notes, but where can they find you?
Oh, it's so great to be with you, Kris. You know that I just think the world of you. If anybody would like to come on over to my Instagram, I'm at Shonda Palmer Wellness. It's Shonda_Palmer_wellness. You're welcome to DM me. Just let me know what you thought of this episode and if I can answer any questions. Or you can visit my website at shondapalmer.com.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, friend.
Thank you, Kris.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a friend who might be struggling to lose weight in perimenopause or even menopause without confusion and without overwhelm? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It blesses me to know this podcast is helping you. Time to grab my protein smoothie and head to the pickleball court. I'll meet you back here on Wednesday for another Honeycast episode. See ya.